Oh! How y'all doing? Welcome. Let's go. That's what he said today. He will come through. He won't know that's not what superheroes do. No greater love. A love like this. Makes my heart beat forever.
Hey, what's going on, good people? Y'all doing all right today? Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's have a conversation. This sun is blinding. All right, so guys, I want to have a conversation with you guys on being afraid to get started. Um, and the title of today's um, subject is "Don't be afraid to get started." And if you are listening in, let us know where you're coming from in the chat. So thank you for all who have tuned in from LinkedIn to YouTube to Facebook. So I want to tell you guys I appreciate you all for showing up and tuning in. So the title of today's segment is "Don't Be Afraid to Get Started." I just recently did a forum where the topic was I hate my job, and I pretty much just had to talk to everybody and just say, hey, there's been some scenarios and some situations where each and every one of us have hated our jobs, and so, but in essence, there has been something that has caused us to stay in that place, in that unhappy place. Um, and it's that way for some reason where we're just so connected and we're addicted to the money and where it is where we're willing to put up with certain things versus just changing our mindset. And so that's what I'm here today to do is to help you guys change you all's mindsets in essence, right? And so, what I want you guys to do is give me a follow. My social links are over to the link. Follow me at Mr. Young1 on Instagram, Derrick Young on LinkedIn, and you'll see me as the Mother Funder. You'll see that up at the top. Look for Derrick Young, the Mother Funder, or Derrick the Mother Funder Young. And then we also are on Facebook. So if you see the Mother Funder on Facebook, that is me. Um, let's have a quick conversation. I don't want to keep you guys long. I think uh, being short and concise and persistent and consistent on what we're here to talk about is being afraid to get started. So what I'm telling you guys is don't be afraid to get started, because if you are afraid to get started, that means that you won't get started. And then certain people say that uh, they like to wait for a perfect time to get started, right? And so, in essence, what does that look like in order to get started, right? There is there's a fear in wanting to get started, and we can talk ourselves out of from being successful when we have everything that we need from the connections, but we're afraid to use them. So there was research that was recently done, well, not recently, but a couple of years back, is that there is a high rate of heart attacks when it comes to Mondays, where a lot of people hate Mondays if they If they have W-2s, they literally hate their jobs, right? But if we go back to the basics of why do we work? Why do we do the things that we do to sustain us? Why do we go to work so we can pay bills, so we can put food on our table? Why do we do these things? And it's the mismanagement of the balance of our lives, our daily lives as well. And so what I say is, and what I would encourage each and every one of you guys to do is don't be afraid to get started. So I say, if you hate your job, don't be afraid to start loving it, right? Figure out a way how to love that very thing, the reason why you applied. Nobody made you get that job. Because I tell you, one guarantee is that you will always have bills, so you will always need money in order to pay those bills. So, however, the humbling and the encouraging factor is, if you are looking um, to make it in life, you got to change your attitude. Because I guarantee you, if you try and use your excuse, saying that you weren't able to get to work because you don't like your boss and all of this, and you take that excuse to whatever utility company that you have and that you pay your monthly bill on, and take the excuse to them and see, won't they take your turn your services off? And if it's an electric company that you're paying your electricity bill to, if you don't pay it long enough, they will take the meter off the wall to make sure you get no power. So what I'm saying is, I want to be able to give you power, in essence, to say, hey, this is a day, a new day that I have. I have the opportunity to prepare my mind. I have an opportunity to make it an awesome day, to make sure that I'm doing what I'm needing to do, to make sure that I'm giving the job the best that I have, to stand out from those who are good with just being okay. But you want to be exceptional. You want to be exceptionally great. And by you being exceptionally great, these are the things that will set you aside, and then you will put yourself on the path of something different, right? But I was once so guilty of having a distraction of not being able to appreciate certain things in my job and my daily habits, right? And so, but what I want to encourage each and every one of you guys that are listening. So I know some of you guys might be eating barbecue and celebrating, but if you're trying to start something, let's take this time that we have and use it for something. Use it to create something. Use it to develop a software. If you're a software engineer, if you love creating things, use that opportunity to be able to create something. Don't just sit around watching TV. There's a time and a place to watch TV, and there's a time to spend with family. But then there's also a time where you want to strategize on, where do you want to take your business? How do you want to get to the next level? So all these things, they take time, as strategies that you put in place to do these things. So what type of strategies will you put in place? So also, to give you guys a heads up, um, every Saturday, I have a live LinkedIn show at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's on the Black Women Empowerment Network, where we talk about building wealth through real estate. And that is a functionality tool where we can create passive, but you have to get started in something. And we're getting ready to create a real estate course, and we'll be speaking on businesses, how to get started in business, how to get started in real estate. And there are different strategies that you could take that could help you, such as, don't start a business without having these things. You need a team first. You got to have a legal team. You got to have CPA, bookkeepers, because these people will help you stay compliant. They will let you know if you're losing or if you're making money. Before you start a business, you need to be able to plan. So I just got so excited that I just started it. But then when I got into the business, there was a lot of things that I learned that I would go back and do differently now. But don't be afraid to get started. It's how you start. Once you start, you got to stick and stay, because that's the only way. Once you stick and stay, that can really pay dividends then. It's only how you start and how you be consistent within that time frame. So within that time frame, what you want to look at is, what does your legal team look like? Do you have legal representation for your business and your personal? All right, because you're a business owner, or if you're getting interested and you need to understand uh, the levels of business and personal credit, you need to understand the levels of your team. So don't be afraid to get started. You just need to know how to get started. And so, what I want to do for you guys is, this is my website at the bottom. I want you guys to go to it, book an appointment, do 15-minute consultations that are complimentary, because I believe, and this is a blurb on the Building Wealth Through Real Estate. That is the title of our show. And what I want you guys to do is, this is our digital card, where this has all of our links, where I want you to take a picture, and you can go, if you're on a mobile, copy paste this, and what you could do is go to the top right, click the buttons, and then you can book an appointment. Or if you want to follow me on social to be notified when we go live to talk about tips and techniques on business and real estate, you can be notified of that. And so we are very, very excited to come on to be able to just share information that we've learned and topics that we've discussed, because I believe in having a conversation. That's how you learn, is by having a conversation. So by having a conversation, that's the point. It's just talking about it. It's nothing different from just having a natural conversation to have an understanding of what is what. So let's talk about getting started. I talked about on the show this past week about a three-step process. In the previous week, we had the CEO on, Dr. Jacqueline King, where we talked about building wealth. What does it look like building wealth through real estate? And it was an amazing opportunity to be able to uh, interview her, because she's interviewed people like, if you know who Derrick is, he's a big gospel artist. So she interviewed his mom. She also interviewed Dr. Matthew Knowles. Dr. Matthew Knowles is the father of Beyonce and Solange Knowles, and uh, and so many other great people that she's interviewed. So I want to tell her thank you for the opportunity to give us a platform to be able to just go and present, right? So also we're getting ready to have a jam session getting ready to come up. And the jam session is, what is a jam session? So a jam session is a place and a space where we invite specialists within their field that could help encourage and educate those that are trying to get started in business, entrepreneurship, or real estate. And what that looks like is, you need help. You can't do everything on your own, and I would advise you not to do everything on your own. And by you doing these things, you really make it harder on yourself by doing it on your own. Because if you do it on your own, you don't you can learn, but it will definitely take you a whole lot longer to do certain things. And by you doing it longer, it takes time when you can accelerate if you partner up with the right people. And you want to partner up with the right people by knowing who is a specialist in that particular category. So if you're not a lawyer, you can talk to somebody that has some type of legal expertise. So if you need taxes, You know you need to make sure that you're going to that particular person who specializes in that particular industry that you're in. So like with me, you know, I have a specialist that deals with real estate investors and business owners. I have a bookkeeper that deals with real estate investors and specifically geared towards what I'm doing. So you don't want to take your vehicle to a mechanic and all they do is just change oil. If you need a transmission, you need to go to a specified uh, a mechanic who handles transmissions, right? So with that, guys, we'll get ready to end the session. We just wanted to come on and tell you guys, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get started. Because if you're afraid to get started, you will never get started. Don't worry about trying to be perfect, because see, if you're trying to be perfect, you will never get started, because there's no way, no one is perfect. You just have to get started and make corrections as you go. So I believe that you being an entrepreneur or starting the process is that what happens is while you're jumping out of the plane, you figure out how to put the parachute on. And so I've done that. So now I've created the blueprint now where I say, don't jump out of the plane. Just wait. Hold on. Let's get legal first. And then once we get legal, then we can talk about strategy. Let's talk about funding. Let's talk about uh, your credit. So we can show you how to leverage all of these things. That's very important. Knowing how to leverage all of these things and knowing how to fit it in the best box that you can. So once you get started, you can walk into success and not struggle into success. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to come on and tell you guys, number one, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get started. Because if you're afraid to get started, you'll never get started. And don't worry about trying to make everything perfect. The thing is, you just have to get started. Have the proper structure, but making sure you have your legal, making sure that you have your business plan, but making sure that you have people that you can connect to, certain mentors, or have some type of education on how to get started. Don't just get started, right? That's the biggest mistake that I made is I got started, but I finally figured out that there's there's a how to, right? And so now that I know how to, I can get started. So with that, guys, we'll get ready to close it out. And thank you for tuning in. And on July 9th, which is next Saturday, we'll be having a real estate jam session where we'll have Miss Carla Hill, the one and only, speaking about her specialty. And we'd love for you guys to register at the bottom by going to daygroup21.com/events. Once you do that, register for the event and the jam session. Let's talk about the jam session. So the jam session was created so you guys can come and have fun. It's not like work. It's a little more. It's more funner, if that's a word. More funner. My southern dialect is coming out. It's fun. We make it fun because we have a virtual DJ that hosts, and then we play music, and then we have a guest that comes on, speaks, presents, and then we have an open forum where our guests, we allow them to ask questions, and so from those questions, then they answer, and so we allow them to have fun at the same time because we believe in having fun, learning and having fun. So that's what it's about. So, but with that, guys, we want to thank you for giving us your time, and then we'll check to see if we got any questions in the chat before we get out of here. And we're good. So I appreciate it, guys. So let's listen to a little Kirk before we get out of here, guys.
Put your hands together in the house. I see you. That's why. I wanna love nobody but you. I wanna love nobody but you. I wanna love nobody but you. And I really mean it this time. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. Bring it to a come on. He saved the day. He will come through. I don't wanna love nobody but you.